Hello, Dawgpound South campers. This is the Cleveland Browns Dawgpound South podcast, part of the Fanatical Elves Network, part of the Fans First Sports Network. I'm your host, Steve Gill, and if you've watched this podcast before, you know all that information, but I like saying it. So here we are, first week of free agency over with. Some I like generally. I like what they've done so far. I love the Malik Collins and the edge, and really like the offensive lineman they picked up. The Kenny Pickett trade was a little bit of a head scratcher. A lot of people are getting upset because they sent a 5th round pick. They got 10 picks. I don't expect them to use the 7th rounder they have or all of the 4 6 rounders they have. What does concern me with the draft picks is there's quite a jump between pick, 104 to 179. That's 75 picks. So we'll see what Andrew Berry has up his sleeve. After thinking about it and reading about it, about Kenny Pickett, okay, I can see it. He was better than DTR, and like I said on Thursday night show, this is the final. DTR was the final piece of an offense being run by Deshaun Watson, because that's why he was drafted. He was drafted to be Deshaun Watson's backup, so they could run the same type of offense because they are the same type of player. So now that he's gone, so is the offense for Deshaun Watson, which, as I keep saying, will never step on the field as a Cleveland Brown again. He may still be on the roster, but he ain't playing. Which leads us to the quarterback position. They talked to Russell Wilson. I find it interesting, and I know everybody on social media has seen this before. Andrew Siciliano, the voice of the Browns, does a podcast, and when asking Myles Garrett about the plan moving forward, the quarterback position, gave the impression that he knows what the plan is, and he's happy with it. He also gave the idea that he knows who the quarterback is going to be. Now, I've heard that Andrew Berry gave Myles Garrett a list of names, and the thought process in acquiring a new quarterback before they take the field again. So that's what Myles Garrett is referring to. So you're hearing a lot of different things right now. A lot of fans are clamoring for Joe Flacco. Something happened between the Browns and Flacco while he was here. I've heard. Now, some are blaming Deshaun Watson, and I have a feeling they are legit in their in their blame. But there was something else. Flacco really didn't like the way that Watson put in the work during game week, and we all knew that. We all kind of suspected that. But there was something else that's just not clicking. He'd love to come back. I'm sure he would. Over the last 3 years, this is where he's had his best success. Now, does those 5 games translate over a 17 games season? I don't know. I watched him when he was with the Colts last year, and I just don't get it. Yes, it was magical. Yes, the Browns got lucky. The ball bounced their way several times during that season. Like I said, you won 3 of the Browns won 3 of their biggest games with 3 different quarterbacks. San Francisco game with PJ Walker, the Baltimore game in Baltimore with Deshaun Watson, and the Jets. Which other one was there? But anyway. Yeah, Pittsburgh game with DTR. So I just don't see the Flacco thing. As for Jameis Winston, I can understand why they don't want to bring him back, because of the interceptions. I mean, good Lord. And the decision making he did. You heard Tommy Rees' introduction news conference. They want a quarterback that makes the right decision, a quick decision, and the right decision. So that wasn't Jameis Winston. I'm sorry. Love him to death. Locker room guy. Brought a lot of fun for everybody when he played, but he's just not it. Let's take a quick break. All right, we're back. A little reminder, Hemisphere Coffee, one of our main sponsors. I'm a big coffee guy. Used to own a coffee shop. And I have one of the best roasters in the world. And he is a good roaster because he knows the people he's buying the beans from. And that's what Hemisphere Coffee does. They shake the hand of the farmer, which you don't have no idea when you're importing coffee beans how important it is to know who you're buying them from. But anyway, back to the quarterback position. So we had Russell Wilson in. Now we're in a waiting game. And it all depends on Aaron Rodgers, which I don't understand. Aaron Rodgers wants to go to the Vikings, which makes no sense. Why would he want to go to the Vikings? What is he trying to be, Brett Favre 2.0? I don't get it. I don't. And by the way, if the Vikings do sign Aaron Rodgers, the Vikings are not trading J.J. McCarthy. So that's why it doesn't make sense. Now, Russell Wilson came here. He had, despite what the media is telling you, no, he had a good visit. They had good conversations. He appreciated how open the Cleveland Browns were about this coming season. He also appreciated that they showed a little bit of what kind of offense they're thinking about running this year. He had a really good visit. He likes the facilities. And then he went on to the Giants. I don't know how that visit went, but right now the Giants are holding everything up along with Aaron Rodgers. The Steelers are waiting to see what falls out of the Giants and the Browns. The Browns are interested in Russell Wilson. They have told him that. So right now it's a wait and see process. I've been told that it could shake out later this week. We'll have to see what happens once the dominoes start to fall. It all depends on Aaron Rodgers. Also, there's word the Browns are interested in Carson Wentz. I don't know about that one. I'm going to do a little research on Carson Wentz. But I know he was highly rated prior to the draft that year. But I don't know. I just don't know. I can understand the Kenny Pickett. I mean, at Pitt, his coach ran the same offense. It's basically the same offense as what Stefanski runs. So that kind of makes sense. And also, the media got a little bit upset. Well, not as upset as I thought they would, that he expects to compete for the starting job. Well, sure he does. I mean, every time I buy a lottery ticket, I compete for the grand prize. What's the difference? I am willing to pay the money for a lottery ticket. So, but the Carson Wentz thing, I'm going to have to do a little research on Mr. Wentz. But like I said, this should shake out this week. We will find out. No, the Browns are not desperate. If you're desperate, you don't do anything, or you're afraid to do something. They are not desperate. They have a plan. I don't know why everybody puts the hate on Andrew Berry. I've seen articles that prove that he's not as bad at drafting players that everybody thinks he is, backed up with numbers. So, I know my fellow teammates here at Fanatical L's Network don't like Andrew Berry and think he can't judge talent. I am alone on an island. I think he can judge talent, and I think he's done the best he could, considering he didn't have a first-round draft pick. But I think, and I agree with him, this draft is very important. Okay? All right, so Nick Chubb Nick Chubb has gotten interest from one AFC team. It's kind of a standard low offer with a ton of incentives that he could easily reach. But Nick Chubb loves the fact that the Browns and Myles Garrett came together, got that contract extension. He is very encouraged about that. Still wants to play in Cleveland. Doesn't want to get lowballed, but he is not finding the massive quantity of contract out there that he thinks he deserves. Cleveland is still his best option, and he knows it, and he wants to come back to Cleveland. We'll see how that shakes out. But right now, his market is poor, very poor. But you got injury concerns and age concerns. So let's see what the Browns offer. They're not going to lowball him. They will give him the best offer that they think he deserves. All right, so we got that. Now, free agency going into this week, we should see some action. I'm a little concerned they haven't signed a safety, but I've heard the safeties that are still out there are just asking for way too much. And this is a part of free agency where you can't sit there and ask for the moon. You just can't. You got to take your shot. So I still expect them to sign a couple safeties. Trades. Brandon Ayuk, I don't know how that one got started. A lot of teams are very concerned about his knee. I know the San Francisco 49ers hated the deal when they extended him. So they're looking to get rid of him, but the knee is causing a lot of teams to turn their back. The Browns have tried to get Michael Mayer from the Raiders. The Raiders are holding on to him. I think he'd be a perfect number 2 tight end in this offense. So we'll have to wait and see on that. And then you had the Chris Olave rumors out there. Yes, the Browns did inquire about Chris Olave, but the Saints are going to keep him. That's what I was told, that they want to retain him. Those were the exact words. So I know Brown's Twitter went crazy when they saw that. I had known about this for about a week, but now that it's out there, I can tell you that the Saints want to keep him. Let's see if they change their minds. I think that would be a great wide receiver pickup for the Browns. All right, so that's it for today. I enjoyed the basketball today. It's Selection Sunday. I was disappointed that my 2 favorite college basketball teams didn't get past the first round in the tourney, the Ohio State Buckeyes in the Big Ten and my alma mater Vanderbilt in the SEC tournament. Both of them played very bad down the stretch. Both of them probably knocked themselves out of making the tournament. And if I had to guess which one has the better odds of getting in, I would say Vanderbilt. They beat some top 15 teams, top 20 teams. One on the road, which isn't easy in the SEC. So if I had to guess, maybe Vanderbilt has the best shot. I'm not crossing my fingers and hoping. I think both are making the NIT. As for the other side, the women's teams, they're both going to make the NCAA tournament. The Ohio State Buckeyes women's team is very good, and so is Vanderbilt's women's team, very good. So we got to wait and see when that happens later today. You got some championship games that have to finish here in Nashville, the last day of the SEC tournament. It's going to be the University of Tennessee versus Florida. I don't like either team, don't like either school, but as a Vanderbilt graduate, I dislike Tennessee more. And this will probably be one of the only few times you hear me say this, go Gators. All right, so that's it for today. Thank you for watching, following, listening, and subscribing to us here at the Fanatical Elves Network. We appreciate your support. So this has been the Cleveland Browns Dawgpound South podcast, part of the Fanatical Elves Network, part of the Fans First Sports Network. Enjoy the basketball today, and as always, go Browns.